Welcome. My name is Gabby. Thanks for joining a yin and restorative practice. Today's invitation as we settle into our poses is a reclamation of rest. Rest as revolutionary, rest as a radical act of self-love. In Ayurveda, which is a sister science to yoga, the science of life, of longevity and health, rest is considered one of the three pillars of life. It is essential that we sleep. Sleep is our time for integration and assimilating the experiences that we move through, the emotions that we feel, the information that we learn, and rest is essential to our integration and our renewal and the way that we are able to replenish our own resources so we can show up in life in our fullest potential. And in this world that we live in, this sort of grind culture prevails, this internalized capitalism of like always having to do, having production and how much we balance being a badge of honor. And so the invitation is, can we drop into this practice of deep rest? Can we give ourselves the ability to recognize when these deeply conditioned tendencies to do, to control, to manipulate, to force our environment or the body in this case, can we notice when that happens through awareness? And can we let go? Can we accept rather than take control? Can we drop into this receiving lunar aspect of just being with what is and allowing rest to regenerate? So today we'll use 2 bricks and a bolster. Go ahead and grab your bricks. Place them at the top of the mat. One line. They can be flat, they can be a little higher. You'll adjust for what is most comfortable in your body. And then rest the bolster across the bricks. Take your knees wide, your big toes touch. If you have any pain behind the knees, you can roll up a blanket and just place it right behind the knees. Slowly drape your torso over the bolster. Rest your right cheek on the bolster and let the arms come to rest on either side. Invite your eyes to close or soften the gaze if that feels more accessible to you. So we begin our practice in a supported child's pose. We accept the support of our props because this support is what actually strengthens our rest, strengthens our ability to not do. So settle into your child's pose and really invite your mind to shift from wherever you just were into this moment here and now that you've carved out for your own self-care and presence. And take a big breath in. And exhale, empty the breath completely. Let the body get heavy, the shins imprint to the earth, the arms a little heavier on either side of the bolster. Begin to slow down the breath. Send your awareness to the very tip of the nose. And notice the breath moving in through the nose and slowly out through the nose. As you slow down the breath, can you begin to really stretch it and try to match the length of the inhales with the length of the exhales? When we begin to slow down our breath, we can also slow down the wildness of our thoughts. When we slow down our breath and notice it, we can bridge our mind and our body in one place and bring more presence into the way we move in our lives. So really slow down the breath as you inhale, fill, and feel where the breath moves in the body. And as you exhale, imagine the breath escaping through a tiny pinhole so slowly. This intentional drinking the breath in and letting the breath go. That release. Switch your cheek on the bolster, so opposite cheek resting on the bolster. Still here in supported child's pose. As you breathe, can you welcome this invitation for every cell in the body to find rest? To notice the feet, not moving from here to there, but just simply melting into the ground. The shins, the body anchored. Even the arms that are always extending to do. Just letting them rest. And as you slow your breath even more, continue to match the length of the inhales with the length of the exhales. And perhaps your body might start to remember what it feels like to be a child resting, that deep sleep that we see babies fall into, with the belly expanding as they breathe, these deep belly breaths. So intentional breathing, these deep belly breaths, slowing the breath down, even longer exhales, are all a way of restoring and replenishing the nervous system. Take one more breath here. Feel your hands on the ground. Notice the texture of the mat or the earth. Press your hands gently as you lift your heart up with presence, just feeling into your body's movements. Place your bolster to the side and your bricks forward. You can go ahead and place one brick at the top of the mat. Make your way into table pose. Stack the shoulders over the wrists. Spread the hands, feel them anchored to the earth. Release the shins to the earth, the tops of the feet. And next inhale, draw the heart forward, lift the chin, the gaze. Even stretch the throat. Exhale to press the earth away, round, drop the head heavy. Move through a few rounds of cow and cat, heart opening, collarbones drop. Exhale to round, pulling the shoulder blades away from each other. See if you can let this movement be slow. It's opening the front of the heart and the back of the heart. So our body has an inherent wisdom, an innate capacity to heal itself. So I invite you at any point in this practice, if there's something your body wants, if there's something your body feels that will be supportive, to take that, to trust it. So you can stay with cow and cat, or you can C-curve the spine, maybe sway the hips side to side, barrel the torso, or just invite any intuitive movement that your body is asking for. Spread the hands, come back to your table pose. Bring the brick just underneath the forehead. And then go ahead and walk your hands forward slightly. Tuck the toes and lift the hips up to down dog. Shift your heart back, and you're going to rest your forehead on the brick. This might take some adjusting. You might need to stack bricks. You might need to just walk your hands forward slightly. Spread the hands. Press the heart towards the back of your mat. You can take the feet a little bit wider and invite a soft bend into the knees. Let the third eye center come to rest on the brick. Here we connect to intuition. Ajna chakra, this source of perception and knowing, accessing deeper truths, deeper awareness. So as we settle into longer holds and different poses, where we start to access that deeper awareness of when our body is trying to do or to move or to control. And can we invite our body to rest? Keep spreading the hands. And inhale, feel the breath expand all sides of the rib cage. Exhale to empty the breath out. Maybe the heels sink a little deeper towards the earth. Can you trace the breath along the back of the legs, the entire spine? Complete exhales. One more breath. Lower your knees to the earth, table. Then hips to heels, lift the torso up. We're going to move into a deep hip opener, pigeon pose. I'll offer two variations, one without props and one that's a little more restorative with props. You can move into your pigeon pose from table or down dog. You'll bring your right knee just outside the right wrist, flex the foot. Lower your back knee down, untuck the back toes. Notice if you're wanting to rock onto the right hip, bring your left hip forward to square. And that might mean that you need some support under the right glute. So you can place a brick, or you can place the bolster under the right glute. The more parallel your shin is to the front of the mat, the deeper the hip opener. Eventually you'll come down to your depth, maybe even using a brick underneath third eye. If you're wanting to do this with the bolster, it can be pretty intense as well, but with a different form of support. You'll place the bolster on the top third of your mat, across the mat. I personally find it's easier to come into this from down dog. You'll take your right knee behind the right wrist again, so similar entry. The bolster remains underneath the pelvis. If your knee is lifting, scooch forward slightly or place a blanket underneath the right knee, just so it's supported. When you're ready, you will lower down to your depth. If you're feeling any intense sensation in the knee, there's always figure 4 on the back. So know that that's an option too. Invite your extended leg, your right leg, invite your back leg to get heavy, top of the leg to sink into the ground. Let your hips get heavy, be it on the earth or the bolster. Just noticing if there's a deep gripping and seeing if you can use your exhales to relax into the pose. Even invite your arms to settle a little deeper towards the ground, your head to settle. Notice if your mind is tempted to wander into story or narrative. Notice if your mind wants to do or problem solve or plan ahead. And see if you can instead just accept what the mind will do and bring your awareness back to your breath. Tracing the breath in and out as a way to let go of the attachment to thoughts or cycles of thoughts. And come back to noticing how the breath feels in the body. And letting the breath be a tether to actually being embodied, rather than living in our minds all the time or intellectualizing. Notice what's shifting, if anything. Without trying to make sense or judge or understand, just notice as sensations emerge in the body. Take one more breath here. Let it be full with intention and presence as you inhale. Invite the exhale to be complete, fully emptying out the breath. If you're in figure 4 on your back, you'll simply just switch legs. If you're in any variation of pigeon, feel your hands on the earth. Press your heart away from the earth. Tuck the back toes and either send your right leg to the sky, welcoming any intuitive movement that your body wants, or maybe coming back to all fours and welcoming this movement here. And being mindful as you transition, you'll slowly make your way into the other side. Left knee settles behind the left wrist. Untuck the back toes, make sure the foot isn't sickle. Bolster right under pelvis, or no bolster at all. Take a moment to lengthen the spine first, and when you're ready, settle into your pigeon pose. Whatever depth you prefer, maybe forehead resting on a brick, or maybe extending all the way down. Canvas the breath through the whole body. Let your back leg come to rest. The shin, the knee, the thigh, the hips, even the belly as you breathe. Just noticing if there's any tendency to tighten. Often when we feel fear or stress, that can manifest in tightening the belly. So as you breathe, let the belly continue to balloon. Rest the shoulders. Rest them from overextending or from taking on any burden that is not theirs. And rest them from all they're holding. The jaw. Can the jaw just simply hang on its hinge? And the tongue, relax and soften in the mouth. Let the muscles of the face relax. Even the space between the brow, invite that to widen. Notice if a tendency wells up to fight or to resist. Notice if there's a desire to escape or leave this pose. And see if you can practice discernment. So trusting if it's a form of resistance that's coming up, or if your body actually needs to leave this pose. And just honoring what will be kindness as you settle in deep breaths. Can you stay for 3 more breaths? Let the breaths be slow. See if they can be an intention an invitation to presence, rather than anticipating what may come next. No need to figure out what's next. Just invite yourself to rest. The bottom of your third breath, you'll slowly press your hands into the earth, lift your torso, and send your left leg behind you. Maybe just giving it a few wiggles. Maybe you do that in down dog, whichever variation feels supportive for you. Take a full breath, whatever wiggles you need. Eventually, where we'll come to meet is Supta Baddha Konasana with support. So you'll find your two bricks, place one on the highest setting, one on the lowest setting. Drape your bolster like a little ramp, and bring the base of the spine, the sit bones, right up to your bolster. A couple options here if you want to continue deepening into the hip opening. Soles of the feet together, butterfly the knees out. If there's a lot of gripping in the groin, place some pillows or some bricks underneath each knee or thigh. If this has already been enough hip opening for you, then just extend the legs long. Slowly bring your back body to the bolster. Take your arms out to a T, palms face up, deep breath across the chest, just letting the collarbones broaden. Deep exhale to empty out. We'll do a few rounds. Invite your body to really settle into the props, almost like dust settling on the earth. We'll move through a few rounds of Visama Vritti, unequal fluctuation in the breath. Inhale through the nose for a count of 4, and exhale through the nose for a count of 6. These longer exhales help replenish our nervous system, restore our adrenals, let us move into rest and digest rather than fight, flight, freeze. So when you're ready, just clear the breath out, empty it completely. Then begin to inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Option to stay with this cadence, inhaling for 4, exhaling for 6, or to lengthen the exhales even more. Continue 5 rounds on your own. Longer exhalations. Steady breath in and out through the nose. Once you've finished your last round, let the breath go. No need to control, to do, to shift the breath, just let it go. Move your body into what feels like the most supportive resting pose so you can stay in this reclined Supta Baddha Konasana. You can move into Shavasana, whole back body on the earth. Find what will be rest for you. I read this inquiry on the Nap Ministry Instagram. And it was this question of how can we access pleasure and joy and liberation if we're too tired to experience it? So wherever you are, take a big breath welcoming in your rest. And a big exhale into Shavasana.